Well, today's a special day. We're going to put in some ceiling speakers. So we're just in the foyer of the house here. I've got a pair of stereo speakers here. These are Polk Audio, what are they? RC6S speakers for stereo. And the goal would be to get them to line up with the lights, but it's not really possible because that chandelier is hanging from a floor joist. The joists run this way. So I need to be offset. So I'm going to be center line with the center door instead. And then from this direction here, from this hallway, you kind of want to be centered with that light there. But it's a bit too close to the wall here. So you want to be about 2 feet off of the front and rear of the room, and then 3 feet in from the sides. So a bit of a compromise, but we're going to get it done. I've got the hole started from upstairs, which is a little unconventional, but there's a reason for that. So I'm going to get this one in first. I was going to use a hole saw until I recognized that with the template, my hole or circles cutter isn't big enough to do this size of hole. It's almost 8 inches round, and my tool doesn't open up that far. So I'm going to have to use a keyhole saw, which is fine. I've got my stud finder. I got a vacuum, and I've got a HEPA filter, which is important as well. So I've tested the ceiling for asbestos and we're okay. But what I'm going to do is cut with a keyhole saw in one hand and then the vacuum in another hand, so I catch a majority of the dirt that comes down. And this is a HEPA vacuum as well, so it's super clean. So that's what we're going to do. And I've got the wiring installed already. So in this closet here, I've got a little network rack. I've got terminal blocks here, and I've already took the wall out of this closet and gone up into the ceiling space, and then I put the drywall back in. So I don't need to mess around with that too much. I'm going to slide a receiver of some sort here, a MusicCast receiver, yet to be picked, but it's we've got a couple in the house, so one of them was going to go up in there. So we'll go upstairs, and I'm familiar with the makeup of this house because I'm doing a little reno. And if you're anywhere near piping, you got to be careful with what you're doing because you might end up with an irreparable hole in your ceiling. So that's where my template is, and I actually need to relocate this copper line. It's in the way, but I can bump it over the speaker and put it in there. It's not a big deal for me, but you want to be 1 inch away from the joists. So that ended up being my center place there. And like I said, you got to be smart about this. You can't really fix the stucco ceiling after the fact very easily. My next option would have been here, which would have worked from a space perspective, but it would have been in a weird spot from looking from the ground floor. So I didn't want to do that. And I've kind of inspected in here already. But in most cases, you're going to have to think about a couple things. You'll need to think about duct work, like how did that duct get serviced here? And I know because of the way the floor joists go that the duct is in that joist cavity, so that one's useless. And you kind of take your time and think about it. If you're unsure of what is in the ceiling and you're going to go for it, try to pull up a piece of carpet and cut a hole in the floor and look inside and see if you're good. Otherwise, you'll have to cut a hole in the drywall and look around. And then you can get a borescope with a finger and a light, and you can kind of look around and try to identify if you're good to go. So that was my trick that I'm doing this bathroom reno, so I'm able to get in here. So I'm going to take my saw and my template, and I'm going to trace this out with a pencil, and I'll get this cut out with a vacuum. Not going to film that, but then we'll take a look after the fact and see how it kind of turned out. Right, mission accomplished. There's a pipe in the way to deal with that. That was kind of expected. So it's actually not terribly dirty to do it this way with the keyhole. Like, it's the most controllable way of doing it because you're just kind of nibbling away at it. And as far as stuff falling on the floor, it was only some of the bigger chunks, stucco or whatever you want to call this texture, that fell down. The vacuum sucked up all the dust, so no dust made it to the ground. It was able to get a hold of that pretty easily. So now I've got to measure for some symmetry and get the next hole over by the door. And I've looked through the joist bay and I know I'm going to be okay over there, so there shouldn't be any surprises. But I guess I could find out that there is something going on. Who knows? Because there is a bulkhead here, and I'm guessing it's ductwork, because nothing else really makes sense. I haven't seen any ducts going this way, and there are ducts in the ceiling up there. So we shall find out, I guess. So yeah, I won't be able to put the speaker in right away. I got to move that pipe. So that'd be an hour's work, I think, to get it isolated and dried out and soldered up and all that. Easy enough. So on to the next one. Got ourselves another Frisbee. This one, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't too close to the joists. You want to be about an inch away. So what I did was I started my hole over here after using my stud finder, and I knew I was pretty close. I put my keyhole in, and I kind of just went to the side a bit on each edge just to see where we were at, and it was good. So I continued around putting in the circle, and thankfully no surprises. I do want to see what's in there. At least there's some insulation, and there's a wire there, so that's good to know. So a couple wires passing through, but no real concern. Hopefully I can see through to the end, and I think I can. So we are all good. I can put in my speaker. So I'll fish those wires through here and get that speaker done, and I can hook that up to the amp. I'll probably do the plumbing for the other one tonight as well. We'll see if time permits. So that wasn't too bad. The keyhole worked out nice. This is the stud finder I like to use because it's very visual. You're not kind of guessing where things are. You'll actually know. You can tell if you've got a double header over a door or not. And yeah, so these Franklin sensor detectors are quite good. And then you should get fit tested and be well educated on these sort of masks. So you can get a P100 particulate, but you should get fit tested. And that's a medium. You can learn about how to do that. I'm not going to give any more advice than that. You shouldn't just buy those off the shelf without knowing what you're doing. So we got the two holes, and we will get the one stereo speaker up in there. Fiberglass fishing pole is deployed, so it's got 3 sections on it, so it'll reach just about to the next hole, so that's good. I can tie the wires on over there and draw them back, and with the door being here, that's pretty convenient. And I vacuumed the space up above already, and then I'm going to seal the raw drywall with masking tape before I put the speaker in, and that'll prevent any junk from landing on the speaker and bouncing around, because you don't want vibrations and funny sounds from stuff bouncing around on top of the speaker. So yeah, I'll go upstairs, we'll take a look. That one speaker might actually fit by the pipe that's in the way, with the insulation kind of pushed out of the way. It looks like we're gonna get away without doing any plumbing tonight. So that's a nice surprise. Yeah, so there's my fishing pole right here. So it reached, so I'm gonna feed my wires back on that. Just gonna tape them on with some electrical tape and draw that back. Both the speakers are in their spots. I need to tuck a bit of paper in between the speaker and this copper pipe, and I'll be good there. Like, that's the best way to insulate it, like some thicker cardstock, so that doesn't touch the crossovers. You can see this speaker here is in. It fit perfectly. Could have turned out better. You can kind of adjust the tweeters a little bit. This is the other one here. So as the person walks in the door, they'll be greeted with some music. That's my fishing pole that I used there. I think that's a Greenlee. It's 3 sections. And then there's the paint covers. So if you're going to paint the trim to match the ceiling or the walls, you would put these back on to protect the speakers. I know that the wiring is entrance 1, entrance 2, and then entrance 3, entrance 4. So I've got that marked here, although I ran out of marking tape, but I know where to put those, so that's good. I just got to do a load test on my receiver, make sure that it can live with these speakers. So I'll have another video load testing the RN303. And I got a little bit of cleaning up to do, but it wasn't too messy, and a bit of thinking ahead really helps out. And like I said, I lined the hole with the tape, used my stud finder, and it worked out. I have another video on the speaker wire that I used and how I picked it, so you may want to watch that. I got a number of videos on home audio video you may want to check out. So you're welcome to look around my channel. So hopefully you found this useful, and thanks for watching. All right, it's been a couple weeks since I installed these ceiling speakers, so I thought I would just put an update up as part of this video before releasing it. So as you can see, the speakers are in and they fit the ceiling nicely. This brand of speaker didn't have very nicely painted grills, so I'm going to have to repaint them before I put them up. With the Polk Audios, you can spin the left and right center piece a little bit so you can get it lined up. And even though this speaker is a little bit too close to the rear wall, it is okay. And they're, I don't know if they're like 18 feet apart. It's still okay from that perspective. Even though the ceiling is not very high, you don't feel like you're walking from one audio area to another. It's still pretty seamless, and it's not overly loud where they meet. So I think it's okay to break the rules a little bit for the speaker placement. And I've had them used a little bit, and things are good. So we'll take a quick look at the wiring and the app. So I'm going to put on this non-copyright music here, which I'm sure people are going to get fed up with eventually. But so we're on here. Of course, I just touched it. That's the one problem if you have it on your phone. You can bump it. So looking where the amp is. This amp is just sort of in here temporarily. I'm going to end up moving it somewhere else because it can't do enough speakers for what I want, but it's running the A and B channel at the same time despite being RN303. It's not supposed to be able to run 2 pairs of 8-ohm speakers for some reason. Then I don't know if you can see in the back or not. I can't see the screen very well, but I've got my speaker terminations are back there, and my network switch is back here. It's kind of hard. We got everything in there. I gotta tidy this up, but it's just sort of temporary until I can probably get an RXV4A for this location, because I want to have speakers here, which these 2 are in, and then drop another speaker into the ceiling up in the powder room here. So I've got a pair of speaker wires in here for another stereo speaker. So that'd be 6 speakers altogether, essentially, that'll run off of this amp and be just this one zone, and there'll be one program for them all. And that's really all it's going to be able to do. And that's all I need for just like as people come into the house, and if they need to use the washroom, they just be one zone, and then we'll be doing some other zones. in the house. So I did actually film another video where I've got 5 zones all linked together with the MusicCast, playing the same program. So but anyway, it's a good system and it works, and it's relatively simple to figure out. So feel free to watch my other video to get some insight on how to link your speakers. And hopefully you found this interesting. I've got another video for running a wire in the house. So just to give you a recap, what I did was I went into this closet and cut out the drywall on the inside of the closet so I could go from floor to floor, from the basement up to the second floor. And then I was able to jog over and get into another closet that was quite close to this closet. And that worked out nicely. But I couldn't get all the speaker wire from everywhere in the house into the basement. And it was going to cost me thousands and thousands of dollars in wire as well. It was getting a little bit ridiculous. So I decided to distribute my amps throughout the house as a better solution. So for the ambience audio on this floor, I've got a couple things happening. So I've got another network rack set up in here. I got a PoE switch for doing some other stuff. And I've got a bunch of wires running. It's not terminated yet, but I've got various wires ready to go here. So I may put an amp in here, but I've kind of rethought this process. And these 2 bedrooms, if I can get RXV6As for these rooms instead, well, I can do 1 channel for the bedroom, which would be like you could do surround sound or stereo ceiling speakers in here. And I've got a space dedicated for a receiver already. And then the second zone could be the hallway in here. This hallway would be 1 zone. And then in this bedroom here, I'll have another RXV6A, and that will have a zone that I can put into this bathroom here. So that would basically, you get 4 zones, 4 areas with 2 amps. And depending on what you're paying for amps used, that can be fairly cost effective. Like I paid $400 for my last RXV6A. And if they ever come out with a newer model, those ones will drop in value, because they've been making them for quite a while. But that's sort of a different discussion. But just wanted to give you some ideas. If you want, you're watching this video because I've got ceiling speakers, and just to kind of allude to how I got the wiring in, and then also how to run multiple channels all at once or independently, depending how you want to do it. And yeah, I stood on a chair. It's probably not a good idea. I'm young enough that I'll bounce, but not everybody does. So be careful out there. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully you found it interesting. Thank you.